and then grab that tray and just move on down. Come on and move on down the airport. Welcome back, travel fans. I'm Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides, and on this week's Sunday Sofatime, I'm going to talk about 5 tips to get you through airport security. It is Sunday, July 14th, and actually today it is weeks before that. I'm recording this video now because if you're watching this on the 14th or a couple days later, I'm currently in the Canary Islands right now in a beautiful resort, either playing tennis or hanging out at the pool or on the beach. If you keep watching this channel, you'll find out in a couple weeks. And I currently don't know what the internet connection is going to be like in the resort I'm staying in, so I thought better if I record a video in advance and put it online so you guys have something to watch. And you already know what we're going to talk about, and I probably should warn you in advance. It's probably going to be more of like a rant because, honestly, airport security, it's not a tricky thing. And I don't understand why some people have such a problem just doing what you have to do to get through airport security. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. The first point I want to talk about is, for those of you who don't know, several years ago, they created a new rule that you can't take big bottles of liquids or creams into the airport or on a plane. They have to be 3.4 ounces, which is 100 milliliters or less. This is less than 100 milliliters. This here, yeah, less than 100 milliliters. This is definitely less than 100 milliliters. This, no, not less than 100 milliliters. This, no, not less than 100 milliliters, people. This you can bring through security. This, no. And even if everything, all the liquids, creams, and gels you have are less than 100 milliliters, they still have to be in a sealable plastic bag, which is not bigger than 1 quart. And that's, like about this size. So you can't bring like a trash bag full of things. That's not gonna work either. I don't know why there are still people who didn't get the memo, but those are the rules. The next important tip, and I think this is something that is pretty clear. I think this is something that I don't know if I've really ever seen anybody having an issue with while going through security, and that is, of course, you can't bring anything dangerous. No weapons, no ginzu knives, no nunchucks. Here's something, it was just, yesterday was the 4th of July in the United States, big national holiday, and it's the day where a lot of people buy and set off fireworks. And that might be something that people don't really think about. I don't know. You can't bring fireworks on the plane at all, and guns and bullets and things like that, also not America. Okay, here's another thing that I'm always puzzled by people not knowing that it's like this, and that is, you can't go through the security scanner with any large metal objects. If you have a laptop or an iPad in your bag, you need to take it out and put it in a separate thing. Also, to go back another point, your little baggie with your bottles of 100 milliliters or less, that also has to be taken out of your bag and laid out someplace where it's like not covered by anything. But back to the metal detector or the scanner, you cannot have any large metal objects on you. So a ring is fine. And if you have like a watch where like just this part of it is metal and the rest of it is leather, like me, like when I just went through security yesterday coming back from Munich, they didn't ask me to take this off. But if you have like a big clunking metal watch, take it off. If you've got a bunch of metal chains around your neck, take them off. Belt, off. Wallet, take it out. And if you're gonna be going through one of the security scanners that's not a metal detector, you have to take everything out of your pockets. Yes, everything, including Kleenexes. Everything. You're gonna get it back in just a second, so don't worry about it. If you've got like a metal banana clip in your hair from the 80s, you might have to take that out too. Here's another thing. There doesn't seem to be like a standard when it comes to shoes. I never really know when I'm gonna have to take my shoes off and when I'm not. It seems to differ from airport to airport and country to country. However, it's usually not a surprise because if you know you're usually not the only person waiting there for security, right? You usually have like people in front of you that you can watch before you have to go through. And so you will see if the people in front of you are taking off their shoes. And so here's a little tip, just a little piece of advice. If the people in front of you are being asked to take off their shoes, well then you're gonna have to take off your shoes too. I know, it's crazy. Isn't that crazy that, everybody else is having to do it and then you're gonna have to do it too? I know. If you want to get through security fast, and if you want to make sure that everybody else is getting through security fast, then if you see, okay, today's a day where for whatever reason everybody's being asked to take off their shoes, then just be ready to take off your shoes too. Don't make them ask you, and don't ask, oh, do we have to take off our shoes? If everybody else is doing it, you're gonna have to do it too. I've got one more little piece of advice to just sort of like help the process go quicker to everyone. But before I do that, I want to put a little video ad for you right here. Did you see it? Okay, my final piece of advice is, let's say you've gotten up to security. It's your time. You don't have a full bottle of water with you. You've slammed it down while you're waiting in line and you're gonna have to pee real soon. I know, I've been there. And what would a video be on this channel without somehow mentioning bathrooms? You've taken out your see-through baggie that's just the right size, and it's got lots of little things that are less than 100 milliliters in it. You've put it on the band, you've taken out your laptop, you've put it in an extra thing, you've put your bag in another thing, you've taken off your belt, you've taken out your wallet, you've taken out the Kleenexes out of your pocket, you've taken off your big clunky metal watch, you've taken off all your chains and your big clunky earrings, and you've noticed everyone else is taking off their shoes, so you took off your shoes too. Let's say you got all that right, and I have to say, if you did get all that right, sometimes I would say you're definitely in the minority, but let's say you did, then all that stuff is going to move on a band through the metal detector while you go through the scanner. It might get there before you, it might get there after you. There's really no way to tell. It depends on what's going on around you, and if people in front of you might have something in their bag that needs to be inspected further or identified. Anyways, once you get through the scanner and your stuff comes out of the other end of the x-ray machine, grab that stuff and move the down. Keep it moving, get out of the way. There's usually tables a little bit further down or benches. Don't stop right there at that part of the band where the stuff comes out of the x-ray machine, and use that space right there to put your belt back on and put your things back on and grab your cell phone. Oh, I didn't even mention cell phones, did I? If you do that, you are going to create a traffic jam for everybody else behind you. Grab all your stuff, put it all into one thing real quick, and then grab that tray and just move on down. Come on in, move on down the airport. I don't mean to be overly critical or like snotty about this, but it's for me, it just seems like a common sense thing that the thing comes out on the band and then people stop there and then begin putting their shoes back on and putting their belt back on and grabbing all their things while it's obviously creating a traffic jam in this direction, and there's so much space in this direction. Like I said, just grab all your stuff and move down. It's just better for everybody. All right, those are my tips for you, or for you to share with somebody who's maybe going to be traveling for the first time. If you have any other tips, or if any of these things are things that you've also seen all the time that also maybe frustrate you somewhat, let's talk about it. Write it in the comments below, or check me out on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. As I said, because this video is going to be way pre-recorded, I'm not going to do comment on your comments this week, but usually on my Sunday Sofatime videos, if this is the first time you've seen it, I will comment on the comments from last week's video. But not today, because I'm at the beach. See you next week. Bye-bye.